Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for a day in the life of an enterprise computing professional. As we give folks a few more minutes to join us, feel free to drop in the chat a quick hello and, maybe where you're joining us from. That'd be awesome. So we'll get to get familiar a little bit, get to know each other. You could use the chat feature to say hello and I am joining us from Pleasanton, California. So
I'll add one.
Yeah. All right. Nice. 50-50, California and Texas. There, New York threw in a spin on the chat here. Very cool. Thank you, guys. Thanks all for joining. Okay, without ado, let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon. I think it's mostly good afternoon, good evening for most of our participants here today. My name is Sudarshana Srinivasan, and I'm part of the influencer ecosystem team at IBM. A huge part of what we do as a team is to engage with developers, students, lifelong learners, and everyone else in the middle, right, through events like this. So we're really thrilled to have you join us today for a Day in the Life of event. Quick housekeeping, all participants are muted, so please go ahead and use the chat feature for any questions you might have. I will keep monitoring that, and we will definitely take some questions at the end of the event as well. Okay, so before I give it away to Misty, I'm going to ask a few questions, just to see if you think you've been someone who's used a mainframe before. So if you would amuse us and go ahead and say yes or no, answer might be for the following questions. All right, you ready? Have you ever purchased something online? Have you ever used an ATM for, making a transaction, withdrawing cash? Do you have an online bank account? And another one, have you ever booked a flight? Right? I'm going to go now, quick look. Yes, 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 yes and no, yes. All right. So guess what? You have used a mainframe. And here we are today with Misty Decker, who is a program manager for Master the Mainframe, which has been a student annual contest, a global student contest, which is being run annually for the past 15 years, this year being the 16th year of the contest. She's going to walk us through, so what is a mainframe? What is enterprise computing? How does it fit in this big world that we have here? Misty, you want to take it away? Akshay, do you want to say hi? Sorry, Misty. Akshay is the president of SacHacks, and he's part of UC Davis developer student clubs. And he was the one who, wanted to be partnering with Prime here and pull this event together. So Akshay, a quick hi from you, and then we'll give it away to Misty.
Yeah, for sure. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me here. And I'm definitely not as qualified as all the other panelists over here, but still glad to be here and maybe help make a difference. So yeah, definitely to Sudarshana and Misty to start off this amazing event.
Awesome.
Thank you, Akshay. I'm so excited to join you all. SacHacks has been a really great organization, and we have a lot of clients in the state of California that are really interested in finding students like you that learn these skills. So we're very excited to be working, especially with California, because of that. So, all right. I will introduce let me stop sharing my screen. I will introduce myself, introduce what this thing is that we're talking about here, right? So I have been at IBM for 29 years. It's a very long time. And yeah, you can tell me I don't look that old, but I know you're a liar. So I really am that old. And I had zero intention of working with mainframes when I started my career at IBM, but I really fell in love with this platform and I was very impressed with what it can do. And I've had many different jobs in this technology. And this job is a job of love. This is my passion to share this technology with students like you. It's invisible in the background and you don't get a chance to see it very often. So I'm very passionate about sharing this with you and helping you connect to job opportunity. So let me start with this really fun video. We'll start here. Let me share my screen. Clicky, clicky. Hang on. Share screen. Let's watch this 1 minute long video. I love that video. There is so much really good information packed in that video, and I'm going to take you through exit full screen. I'm going to take you through each of those little pieces a bit at a time. So let us start by giving you my connection information here first. So I am on LinkedIn. Definitely connect with me there. I answer student questions. I help people connect with mentors. And I'm on Twitter as well at MistyMVD. And I care about you, and I care about your career, and I care about your future. And anyone at all that is interested in a career in enterprise computing and mainframes, I am here for you, and I will help you as best I can. I will point out this lovely photo here is of one of our special guest speakers today. This is Anna McKee, and we love her because this contest I'm going to introduce you to, she's won twice, which is huge, and you will know how huge that is in a minute. So what is enterprise computing? It really comes down to scale. So let's think about what happens in 1 second. Twitter is huge. That's almost 6,000 tweets a second. But Tinder's actually bigger, 18,000 swipes a second, 20,000 Instagram photos shared every second. Google is huge, right? You would think that this is massive, 63,000 searches every single second. But all of that is dwarfed by over 1 million transactions happening on this platform every single second. It is back there behind a lot of this stuff that you are dealing with every single day. Now, we're talking about scale, big scale, 30 billion transactions a day. It's ATMs, it's retail transactions, shopping online, airline reservations, hotel reservations, right? This is an infrastructure that is in the background of a lot of these businesses and a lot of this money going around in the economy. So let's take a little bit look at the network. What you're used to, we call systems of engagement. Your cell phone, your laptop, the ATM even is a system of engagement. That is where you as the user are engaging with the technology. That's all the way here at this left end, the user. But then you need to connect to all of those services. And that usually goes through maybe a cloud provider or the internet, right? Goes through the network. And at the back end, through these APIs are a programming interface, so application programming interface, so it is a way of communicating to these back-end servers, and that is what we're talking about today. This is the real brute that is powering everything else that you see. It's hidden, you're not touching it, you're not seeing it yourself, but you are using it all the time. And in fact, look at this stat. 68% of the world's production IT workloads are running on a mainframe. 68%. So it is a massive amount. It's in pretty much anybody large. Any large company is big enough to need a mainframe, all right? So if you're not that big, so my local bank is not big enough to need a mainframe, but my regional bank is. My town, I told you, has only one stoplight, traffic light. We definitely are not big enough to need a mainframe, but my city government, my county government, my state government, my federal government, all of it, it runs on this platform. It's everywhere. But there's a lot going on in the world right now. So this technology has been around for over 50 years, and every year we update it, we modernize it, it's continuing to grow and expand and change. So a lot of people think of this platform as a legacy technology, which is true. It does support all of that legacy stuff, but it's so much more. It's also the platform of the future. And that is because of all of these things that are happening right now. There's cybersecurity threats, there's regulation and data privacy concerns happening right now, and there's also scale that needs to happen with instant payments and open access and embedded services. So there's a lot of transformation happening, there's a lot of innovation happening in the world of IT right now, and those innovations really need what this platform has always been good at. That is security, that's scale, that's reliability. This platform has 50-something years, almost 60, I think, years of innovation and advancements focused on those traits, on that scale, on that size, on that reliability. You'd be very upset if you need cash and you can't get to ATM. And the reason that ATM is so reliable is because in the back end, it is using a mainframe. So there's a lot of change going on right now. There's a renewed focus on environment and green initiatives. There's a lot of focus on cybersecurity, and the pandemic has really accelerated this remote work, the IT infrastructure, and online channels. From a green perspective, my daughter is very, very interested in the environment, and she was delighted to see that in this case of this one customer, they moved 47 x86 blades to just 2 of these machines, and they found an 80% reduction in energy. So it is a massive opportunity to change space. It saves space because each of these boxes are about the size of a refrigerator. Can you imagine 47 blades being replaced by 2, like a side-by-side refrigerator? So it's massive amount of space saving, a massive amount of energy saving. I was asked to focus on security, so let's spend a little bit of time on this security chart. This platform has always been recognized as the single most secure, secureable server. It's the most secure hardware server of any platform. And no one in the business will argue with you on that. And that is why we've seen a huge movement of people looking at this platform that they have relegated in some companies to being only serving their legacy applications. Now they're moving their data back because of all of these things happening right now. There's a lot of regulatory changes. There's been a lot of data breaches, and so companies are much more concerned about protecting their data. It's very expensive for them. And I want to point out, of these records, of the 14 billion records that were breached since 2013, only 4% were encrypted. And you say, well, aren't these people watching the news? Why don't they encrypt their data? It seems pretty obvious, right? There are real business reasons to not encrypt data. And that is because when you encrypt data, it slows down the time of you getting your money out of the ATM or swiping your credit card. Because in order to close that transaction, it has to decrypt the data, process the transaction, and then encrypt it back. So it adds time to that transaction. The other reason is anytime you encrypt a database, for example, every application that needs to read that data now has to be able to handle the encryption keys. So those keys need to be accessed by all of those applications. And in a large company like this, that could be hundreds or thousands of applications that need to be updated in order to read that encrypted data. So that's very, very time consuming and complex. So businesses wanted to encrypt their data. They weren't able to with where some of that data was living. But what we did about 2 years ago is we delivered a new version of this server. The latest version has dedicated cryptography. These are processors in the machine itself that do nothing but encryption. So that addressed the speed issue. It made it so that you could be processing data and encrypting it at the same time. So it removed some of that barrier. We introduced something called Pervasive Encryption. And what that did was it took those encryption keys that allows you to unlock that data, and it put it down at the operating system and the hardware level. So all of these applications up here on top, those hundreds or thousands of applications, no longer need to access that key. The application says, excuse me, operating system, I need this data. The operating system and the hardware decrypt the data and then pass it off to the application. So now those encryption keys are protected in a way that they haven't been before. And it also enables you to just buy this box, move the data to this box, flip a switch, and it will go through and encrypt all of the data and no changes to those applications. So we've addressed that speed issue. We addressed that key management issue. And now companies are moving all of their data and moving their processing to use this server so that they can have their data protected 100% of the time. But wait, there's more. Sometimes you need to share that data with a trusted partner company. And a great example is a bank wants to do a marketing campaign. Tell me which of my banking customers would be most interested in a mortgage. And they'll go to a marketing company to analyze their clients' data and give them a recommended marketing campaign. But that means you're trusting that other company with your personal information about your customers. The way it's handled previously is in the contract, it says, this company will delete the data when they're done. They won't use it for anything else. It's in a contract, right? If they violate that contract, how do you know? You'd have to actually find out, and then you have to take them to court, and it's a lot. What you really want is a way to actually physically control that data when it leaves your company. So we've introduced something called data privacy passports that uses this encryption capability of the server to wrap that data up into a I'm drawing a blank. It's a packet, right? It wraps the data up and it's encrypted. And when that third-party company is using that data, they're using the key from us. And when I don't want them to have access to that data anymore, I just revoke that key. And now they have data, but they can't read it. So that's how we protect the data in a way that no other platform can. So if you're interested in cybersecurity, these are topics that you can only learn on this platform. These are technologies that are not possible on any other server because the hardware at the bottom does not enable these features, right? These are not software features. These are hardware features, and you can only do it with these servers. So I told you that it's legacy, but here's some of the data from a very recent survey that just came out a couple of months ago. 90% of these companies, these large companies, are seeing this platform as their growth platform. And the extra large shops have the majority of their data on the mainframe. So they may have data elsewhere, but now they're thinking about moving it back to this platform because it's more protected. And that includes cloud, by the way. There's all the modern stuff happens on this mainframe, right? You can use DevOps, you can use security, right? So, all right, 63% rated as security and compliance is their #1 top priority, which is driving a lot of their interest with this platform. Sorry, I'm just checking on my time. I want to make sure I give you time to go through these challenges. But let's talk about you for a second, because I'm assuming that vast majority of you, if not all of you, are students and you're hoping to find a good job when you graduate. And so we partnered with Forrester Research, and they did a study on these attributes. These are the attributes that they said students today are really looking for in a job. They want a really good salary. They want a good work-life balance, right? You want to work hard and then play hard. You want to have the ability to make an impact, a social impact, help the world in some way. You want to work on something that aligns with your interests in technology. You don't want to take a job just to take a job. You want to take a job that you're interested in and it's a leading edge technology. And you want to make sure that the job that you get offers you both job security, but also versatility, the ability to try new things. So after they found these 5 attributes, they went and they interviewed people that are working with this technology, enterprise computing roles, and people working with other technologies. And if you look here, you can see people working with the mainframe make more money, have a better work-life balance, have a greater ability to make a social impact because what you're working on is so important and runs the world. This is not a fun little game on an app, which is fun. That'd be fun to work on. But if you want to make a difference for a world, you work on an application that identifies how first responders can get the information they need when they go into a dangerous situation. That is the type of thing that you use a platform like this, an enterprise platform for. And you want to work on something that aligns with your primary interest in technologies. And it's very surprising sometimes to people that have assumptions about this platform. The most leading technologies, not everything is going to be on the mainframe, but there's usually a mainframe version of everything. There's a mainframe version of a cybersecurity job. There's a mainframe version of artificial intelligence. There's a mainframe version of machine learning. There's blockchain. There's a mainframe version of blockchain development. There's usually a mainframe version of everything, which means you're taking that really interesting topic in technology, and now you're bringing it up a level. You're bringing it up to the enterprise level. You're bringing it up to the large scale level. You're bringing it up to the secure level. So there is opportunity for all of those technologies combined with this mainframe technology. And before we started this call, I was chatting with Anna a little bit about her experience joining this mainframe community. And this job security, role versatility, it's all part of being a community. This is a small group. There's a lot more Java programmers in the world than there are mainframers. And we know each other just across companies. And we see ourselves as a mainframe community before we see ourselves as a part of our own companies. And there's always somebody willing to help me. When I look for a mentor for a student, right? I said at the beginning that that's one of the things I like to do for students. A student says, I'd like to talk to somebody in the Minneapolis area about mainframe jobs. And I find them somebody, and they almost never say no, because this is a community that has passion for this platform and for the people interested in doing it. I'm not the only one that's crazy like this. I'm just telling you. So there's a wide variety of areas that you can work with. Cloud is actually a big part of mainframe right now, in that you need to combine the data that you control within your own enterprise and the data that you want to make available in the cloud, and we call that hybrid cloud. InsurTech, FinTech, Melissa, who you're going to hear speak a little bit later, works on, leads a program for startups. So there's startups that really need this level of scale and this level of security, as most notably in healthcare and in finance, are very interested in starting on this platform. So what we're going to go today is we're going to go through Master the Mainframe. We put this contest together over 15 years ago as a way of introducing this technology in a fun way to students like you. And you're not if you go through all 3 levels, you will not be a mainframe expert, right? That's a lot to ask, but you will know a lot. You will know enough that you can get a job, you can walk in the door, and you can start contributing. And everyone in the mainframe community knows this contest. Employers actively look for students that have these contest badges on their resume and send them messages and saying, would you consider applying for our job? So these badges, they don't guarantee you a job. No badge can guarantee you a job, but it does open doors for sure. And one of the things that we're going to do today is we're going to go through level 1. And for every student that finishes level 1, whether you do it today or if you finish it up tomorrow, we make a donation to the UN World Food Program for every student, enough to feed 2 children for a day. So hopefully you all finish today with level 1, and we'll be feeding, I don't know, 100 children. All righty. So questions coming in, Sudarshana, while I load up this next step? I went fast.
Not yet, Misty. That was extremely inspiring. I'm on the mainframe. I'm on the platform already, and I want to be on the mainframe platform. Yes, thank you so much. And I've been sharing the link for students to get started for registering on Master the Mainframe, things like that. Hopefully they have a bit of a head start and have their IBM ID and things like that ready to go. So yeah, we're ready. We're ready.
Right. Now I will show you how to register. This website is masterthemainframe.com, and there's our lovely photo of Anna again. And on this page, if you scroll down, you can see how many children have been fed so far. And this number is actually closer to 15,000 right now. You have until January 17th to finish all of the challenges to be eligible for prizes. Now, you can continue on after that date to continue to earn the badges if you haven't finished yet, but the prizes will be given out based on completions at midnight Eastern Time, January 17th. Any student ages 13 and up, we've even had 60-year-olds that went back to college and did Master the Mainframe. And it's completely online virtual. You can do it from anywhere that you have internet access. So that's why mainframes. I want to show you a little bit about the levels and prizes. So level 1 is follow the instructions step by step. You're just going to get set up. You're going to explore a little bit. And at the end of that, the prize is feeding 2 children for a day. Level 2 is much more instructional. So we teach you a little something, and then you have to do a challenge related to that. And then we teach you something else and a challenge related to that. And every year, the content is different. And this year, we're really focusing in on a lot of those newer modern technologies and how they intersect with those legacy technologies. So we're doing Python and bash scripts, and JCL is a legacy job control language. So that's a language that's legacy, and you'll be learning that side by side with bash. So there's a wide variety of technologies you'll learn, and you get a badge, and there's a random drawing for cash gift cards. That open badge is an official credential, like your college degree, your high school diploma. Those are official credentials because there's a person, there's an organization, your college, that says, I have verified that this student has learned these things that this degree says you've learned. And that's what we're doing with these badges. IBM is verifying that you really do know these technologies that we've put into this badge. And if an employer is interested, it's certified, it's verifiable. So those badges are a real credential. It's not a participation badge, right? It's a real credential. Level 3 is where it gets real. In level 3, we treat you like a real employee. In college, they teach you what you need to know, and then your homework is exactly related to that. But in the real world, you're given a challenge and you have to figure it out, right? So in every challenge in level 3, we teach you some stuff, but we don't give you everything you need in order to complete the challenge. You have to dig in and figure it out. You might have to do some research. You might have to try around and play with some things, exactly like it is when you start a job. So this level 3 badge is extremely valuable to employers because it indicates not just that you've learned mainframe technologies, which they are very interested in, but the level 3 badge says something about who you are as a person. You are someone that is capable of learning on your own. You are someone who will dig in and figure out a way to solve the problem and doesn't need step-by-step instructions. And that means that the people who earn this level 3 badge are the future leaders of their organization. They are the future superstars. And so we have a number of companies that will interview every single person in their state with this level 3 badge. They go out and they actively find everyone that they can, and they ask you, will you please interview with our company? Because they know the value of this badge. All right. So, and we do pick winners, and there's cash, and the winners, I'll let Anna talk about what it's like to be a winner because she's won twice, which is huge because we have 25,000 people competing every year. So to be one of those dozen in the entire world is a big, big deal. So go ahead and click sign up, started. We have the button everywhere, and it all sends you to this page where you can register for your account. Now, I did this ahead of time because I wanted to make sure I was ready to go, but you put in your email and your name and your password, and when you select next, you are asked, are you a student at an accredited academic institution? Yes. Will you be age 13 or over and on the closing date, right? Yes. So if you say no to either of these, you will still get onto the system, but you won't be eligible for prizes. When you click next, it will send an email with a confirmation code. So I will, this is the wrong confirmation code because I'm, right? So now I get the confirmation code and I put it in. And then once you do that, it'll pop you into this menu. Okay. So welcome to Master the Mainframe. Have I gone too fast for you? Are you guys all caught up? Okay. So Darshana, you watch the messages and you let me know if anybody wants me to slow down, okay? So we click continue, and I can change my name here, which I am going to do. Misty the tester. I can upload an image, which I'm not going to do right now. We do support Portuguese. We don't support too many other languages just yet. Now, here I am. This is your main hub. In here, there's challenges, there's help. This is where you can change your profile. And you'll see here what you have to do to earn the next level. Every single challenge that has a grading component to it will earn you one of these medals. We put those medals in place so that you can take a snapshot of all of the medals that you've earned and share it with your educator if they are giving you points. And that snapshot will be up here under your profile. I need to register. So there's a few fun things happening right now. We have the Z for Good video challenge happening right now. And you can see some of these workshops that we did on Z Day if you would like to watch the recap. But right now, what you really need to do is register for the contest. So follow along with me. What is the name of the school you are attending? And I'm going to say San Jose State University. And as I recall, it's su.edu. We use that to double check to make sure that we know exactly what school you're at. I put in my gender, and I am female. And how did I hear about it? I participated last year. Select all that you are interested in. We cannot send you information about Angel Hack events or IBM events unless you select these. You have to select them. You are willing to be contacted by IBM and our partners about career opportunities. When you select this, if somebody asks us to send out a notice, an email about opportunities, we will be able to send you that information. If you don't select it, we won't be able to. There are terms and conditions here. And about the using the system, and the only way to go forward is to collect yes. If you choose not to accept those terms and conditions, you just have to X out. And the contest participation agreement is the rules for those prizes. And when I click continue, there is a quick tour, and I'm not going to play this tour right now. If you are ever lost of where things are, you can always come back and watch the tour. But since I'm here to give you the tour personally, this is a video of me giving a tour. So you're getting it live. So we're going to complete the registration. So these points are for fun. It's gamified. There's lots of ways that you can earn these coins. The prizes in the contest are not tied to these points, to these coins. They are for a broader engagement of the entire program, not just the contest. However, as you go through the contest, you will be earning coins. Now look at here. It says challenges unlocked. You have just unlocked 8 more challenges in the hub. Show them now. There we go. So this is called a channel, and this channel has a bunch of different challenges in it that are miscellaneous fun things. The contest challenges for level 1 are in the level 1 channel. And if you would like to host an event like this, there's some information in this channel. When the boxes look like this, these are challenges when there's a graphic and then text underneath. But right now, what we're really focused on is level 1, so we're going to go into there. Level 1, there's a welcome. And when I'm done with that, it will unlock this challenge that I can't get into yet because I have to do this one first. So when you click on it, it opens up and you get to see the full challenge. And we're going to scroll down and read the text. Welcome to level 1 of Master the Mainframe. Before you jump in with both feet, we want to show you around a bit so you know where to go, what to look for, and who to ask. So this video tour here shows you a bit more about how to ask for help. And again, it's another video of me and you get the live person. So I want to save time and skip that. But I'm going to show you a little secret here. Go there. Oh, wait, it's taking me to the video. I watched it. Okay. More coins. Woohoo, I am rich. All right. Here is the secret. First of all, there's no challenges unless I refresh the screen or I say show them now. Show them now. But that challenge that I just finished is here under my completed tab. So I can always go back and watch that video if I want to. You can do that for any challenges that you've completed. The next challenge is under available. Pending approval, we're not really using, so you can ignore that. All right, look at this. 8,800 people have, or almost 9,000 people have already completed this. Each challenge we gave a little nickname to, and this circle means it's the first level of it. There's a second level where there's 2 rings. So your personal data powerhouse, PDP. Find out what the IBM Z mainframe is all about and how it delivers top-tier performance from all directions. What does a mainframe look like? Well, this is it. Somebody told me that they call this Batman's refrigerator. I love that. Batman's refrigerator, because it's got that like Batman-y look and it's the size of a refrigerator. Pretty sweet. These puppies are so powerful that they are the trusted hardware to handle workloads you interact with every day. And you've heard a lot of this because I gave you an intro. If you're curious, you can go into this challenge and look at the specs. I mean, it is massive. I forget how many terabytes of memory, not storage, memory. 24/7 dependable. That video I opened up with today said 5 nines, 99.999% available. We're now up to 7 nines, so 99.9999% available. And what that means is we're down to I think average downtime is a few seconds a year. You can leave these things running nonstop without having to reboot them for years. Imagine doing that with your laptop. I don't think we need to watch this video because I gave you a lot of this information in another way. But this is an executive at a large bank who's explaining the value of that pervasive encryption that I described to you. But this video I do want you to watch because I have not talked about this topic yet. We're going to talk about virtualization and let's see if I can.
Let's talk about virtualization. Now, incredible hardware, but you can only get so excited about that if you're only driving this small little application that maybe doesn't need 196 processors and 40 terabytes of RAM. But then at the same time, you've got these other huge applications that support the entire business, and those need big time amounts of processors and memory. Well, it all works out because the mainframe is built around virtualization. There's the physical side of things, the stuff we can see, and then there's the logical side, which is how it actually gets used. Think about it like a house. You start out with this floor plan, and well, that's only fun for so long. Eventually, you start wanting an area to sleep in that isn't the same area you make your breakfast in. So you say, let's start partitioning this up, and we'll make this area a bedroom and this area a kitchen. And then you say, well, you know what? Better make it 2 bedrooms, and we'll probably also need a bathroom, so let's carve out space for those as well. That leaves this area over here. I'm going to make this a living room, and you know what? as long as we're playing Dreamhouse, I've always wanted a study. So I'm going to put in a study right here between the living room and the bedroom. Oh, I can't wait to use that study. It's going to be so great. So there, I've taken my empty floor plan and I've partitioned it out to give that space use. Same concept on a mainframe. You start out with all these resources, and then you say, you know what, I need a place to run my Linux web-facing API. So here they go. And I also need a place to test things. So let's say this is my test environment. And let's give a bigger version of that to production, because they'll definitely want that to run the whole business. Maybe these are where the databases go. You can see we've got a whole bunch of them for redundancy and performance. And then development happens over here. And these can all be running different operating systems, and we can bring one of these down without affecting all the others. It's like it's its own room. You don't do kitchen stuff in the bedroom, and you don't do test stuff in production. These are called LPARs, or logical partitions. So because we have LPARs, we can have this big amount of resources, which can be run a whole lot more efficiently and give us a whole lot more options than a whole bunch of smaller individual servers. But they can behave and appear to users as separate working environments. And you know what we forgot? Doors. Let's add some doors to this house. Obviously, we need to be able to get in and out of all the rooms. And now that we've added doors, we can peek our head out of the kitchen and see what's going on down the hallway. On a mainframe, these LPARs exist as separate, isolated systems, even though they're technically on the same hardware. And if you're logged in over here, you can't just peek out into any other LPAR. Just because I'm over here doing development, I can't affect this production area unless I specifically have access. Hey, you know what? We've got our own tiny little master of the mainframe LPAR over here, and we're letting thousands and thousands of mainframe noobs loose on it right now on the same hardware where other stuff is running. And it doesn't matter because we've got our own CPU, we've got our own memory, and it's the job of virtualization to make sure everybody gets what they need. A fully loaded Z15 mainframe can have up to 85 of these LPARs, and some companies will use them all up making smaller size systems. Others will make up a couple very big LPARs. Most will actually have a mix of small, medium, and large. And these aren't set in stone either. If an LPAR starts needing more processor power or it starts running out of memory, as long as there's more unused resources going around, or if we want to share resources between two LPARs, which is a thing we can do, the person in charge just needs to load up a web page, hit some buttons, and say, all right, you've got more power. And that right there is the true power of virtualization, being in full control of how you use what you have.
All right. Understand LPAR now a little bit better. Logical partitions. So it's a way of making one big machine look like to the individual users like they have their own littler machine. And you can do that for up to 85 partitions. So we ask here as part of the contest, it's by the way, that video was Jeff Bisty, and he is the creator of the content. I brought you the platform and he's brought you all of the challenges, and he's got a crazy fun sense of humor. So we're going to start off right away with some fun by wrong answers only. What does LPAR not stand for? And you can see people's answers: lost parts, losing parties, Lego parts, long predictive asset registry, like all sorts, locked parking. So we can pick whatever we think it stands for. Lean people are rad. I don't know. I'm not as funny as Jeff. Cool, tell me more. I hope you guys put some fun ones in there. I think we should publish an ebook of all of these answers. What do you think, Anna and Sadarshna?
That's a great idea. I think it'll be super fun. Yes.
We should. All right.
Absolutely.
All right, so show them now. What's our next challenge? Level 1.2. So we're going to use something called VS Code. All right, VS Code is an industry, it's an extensible editor made by Microsoft that you can use APIs, custom apps, and terminals. And this is industry standard that you'll be able to use this even if you're not working in a mainframe environment. Knowing how to use VS Code is going to be quite useful to you. And so for this contest, you'll be communicating directly with the master of the mainframe LPAR on a real Z15 mainframe that's sitting in Dallas, Texas. Anna actually works on the team that manages that environment. And you'll get a piece of a multi-million-dollar machine all to yourself. So this is a real system, and I will tell you a secret, even though this is a recorded line. There are mainframe professionals that sign up for this contest just to be able to get onto that system. They sometimes do the challenges too, but sometimes they sign up just to be able to play on this system, and we made it for you. So this is an asset that a lot of people want. Here is my ID. So you get a special Logon ID for your mainframe, and we give everybody a Z, and this is a 0, not a letter O. So Z followed by a number and a password. So this will be your screen with your ID and your password. So do not use my ID and my password, use yours. Oh shoot, I don't have a piece of paper. I like to write it down on a piece of paper because when you get to certain screens, if you flip back and forth between the screens, it forgets what you'd already typed in, and my memory is short. So let me get a piece of paper. All right, so I'm going to write down my ID. And by the end of the contest, you will have that memorized because you will use it over and over again. All right, so I'm Z08916. For these challenges, Jeff put together these really amazing cards, instructional cards. And you click here and it opens up in a new tab or a new window. This page that's loading with the instructions. So note that you're going to be installing VS Code and then some of the extensions so that you can access the mainframe. And then you'll be ready to, you'll have everything you need to do the rest of the challenges. Now, your screens may look slightly different. That's okay. And the instructions are in here, and he tells you around 60 minutes, but I've always seen people do it faster. And you'll want to open this file. Here we go. So let me show you the anatomy of the challenge card. How many steps, about how long, a description of what you're going to be doing, some notes before you begin. This code up here matches the code, the VSC1 that we saw on the Master of the Mainframe hub. The hub is where your challenges are getting scored. The steps that we're going to do, quick overview. We're going to download Node.js and VS Code. We're going to install Node.js and VS Code. Then we're going to install some of those extensions. Zoe Explorer is created by the Linux Foundation through the Open Mainframe project and the IBM Z Open Editor. And then we're going to connect. All right. And we're going to look around a little bit and see some of your data sets. So not too hard. Let us open and download. So what you really want is the LTS version. That stands for long-term support. Current version is going to have possible unstable features in it because it's newer. But the LTS. Was that a question?
No?
Okay. So open the installer. Continue.
While the package is downloading, I'm just going to ask everybody if you have any questions. I've been chatting on the chat line here, but is the pace okay? You're staying along with us? Say something on the chat, and we're happy to help answer questions too. Awesome. Okay. Pace is great. Thank you. Yes. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. This is
Great.
perfect. I know Anna's been waiting patiently to talk about her amazing journey and where she is at, but we'll get there soon, right?
You know what? I think we're gonna have time because we end in half an hour, right?
That's right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we're going to have time to go through all of these steps. So I think I gave them enough to go through and follow the instructions on their own. So why don't we switch to that next part of the agenda?
Yeah, that sounds good, because as these packages are downloading even for the students, it might be good for them to hear and listen to Anna. Thank you so much, Misty. This was an amazing walkthrough. I think, and like the students have been saying, the pace was perfect, and I think you did a fabulous job really explaining what they were getting through each of those steps. So while they're busy downloading Node.js and VS Code and Zoe and Z Open Editor,
let me just give them a couple of hints before they go on. If you run into issues during the rest of this call and you're doing this while you're listening to Anna, feel free to put a message in the chat and I will try to answer your questions. After this, there is MTM Slack, and I will put that in the chat. There is a big community of people that are doing this contest that like to support people like you. So you post your question in the Slack and they will answer questions and help you out. And I'm always available offline through that Slack as well. Great.
Awesome. Yeah, so I'd like to now turn the spotlight over to Anna McKee. Anna, take it away and share with us about your journey and where and how you got to where you are.
Yeah, thanks, Siddhartha. So, hey everyone, my name is Anna McKee. It's a pleasure to be here speaking to you all today. I really enjoy sharing my experience with IBM Z and how Master the Mainframe really propelled me to where I am today. And I hope that I can provide you some encouragement to maybe pursue a career in enterprise computing, and if not that, at least participate in the Master the Mainframe contest. So to kick things off, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I graduated from the University of North Texas in 2019 with a Bachelor's of Science in Business Computer Information Systems and a Bachelor's of Business Administration in Decision Sciences. I was the first woman to win the Master the Mainframe contest and also be a back-to-back Master the Mainframe winner for the 2017 and 2018 contest. I hired on with IBM roughly a year ago, and I currently support my team as the DB2 for ZOS systems programmer. But to have gotten to where I am now, I had to set out on a journey of many ups and downs, and there were a lot of successes and failures along the way. What first brought me to IBM Z was some of my college courses in school. Through those courses, I learned about the Master the Mainframe contest. The first year that I participated in Master the Mainframe, it took me several months to complete all challenges in part 1 and part 2. And I didn't continue forward with part 3. So once that year's competition was up, I think it was 2016, I was really bummed that I didn't attempt part 3. So I made it a goal for the next year's contest to just do my best and actually complete all 3 parts. So the next contest comes along, and I completed it in about 2 weeks. I went through the contest extremely quick because I thought that the whole competition was timed, but it actually wasn't. So I pushed majority of my schoolwork aside so that I could, give the competition my full attention. And the contest required a lot of perseverance because there were many times where I just wanted to quit. And all the schoolwork that I set aside was piling up, and but I knew I had to keep pushing through it. And eventually that hard work all paid off because I was the first place winner in North America and was the first woman to be a winner. So I was a junior in college at that time, and winning Master of the Mainframe presented a lot of opportunities that were not available before. So many employers made a considerable effort to reach out to me solely because of my performance in the competition. I already had a summer internship lined up, and an internship that was not in Z, by the way. So I really didn't give it a second thought on finding another internship. Cut to my senior year of college. I had 1 year left. I had a job waiting for me upon graduation with the same company that I interned with. But I started to have doubts on whether I had made the best decision. So I started to wonder if I should have, considered pursuing a career in mainframe. And so that's when I decided to participate in the 2018 Master of the Mainframe contest in hopes that it would give me some clarity to my dilemma and just to advance my mainframe knowledge as well. I really enjoyed all the stuff that I worked on with Master of the Mainframe. So once that competition was over, I got a call from IBM in January and was told that I had won again. So I was pretty shocked and I was confused. Yeah, thank you, Siddharthana. But that confusion really quickly turned into excitement. What I didn't realize when winning Master of the Mainframe is the amount of attention that would come my way. IBM invited me to their Think conference in Las Vegas and in San Francisco, and I was introduced to the Z community there, and I absolutely loved it. I was able to meet the other winners and network. I did numerous media interviews and photo shoots to the point that even strangers began to recognize me on the street. So that was really interesting. But with all of that, and I knew that when I won the second competition that all these whirlwind events were going to happen, but I also was starting to deviate from my set plans and consider a career in mainframe. For the longest time, I really never considered a career in mainframe, only because I had heard that it was falling out of favor. And I was really concerned that I would be investing my time in a technology that would not sustain my career. But by participating in Master of the Mainframe, it allowed me to see the value of the mainframe and its capabilities and how important it is today and will be in the future. So while there are many benefits to winning, being a winner did have its challenges. At the end of my senior year, I had multiple phenomenal job offers. The downside is that I had multiple phenomenal job offers. So while most college students are hoping for just one job offer, I had so many that it was really an extremely difficult decision to make on where I wanted to go. Ultimately, I made the decision to pursue a career with IBM. And
so we won. Hooray.
Yeah. So I am a DB2 for ZOS systems programmer in Dallas, Texas. And my team works to deliver and support technology for our independent software vendors. And independent software vendors are developers that create non-IBM software products. on the IBM Z ecosystem. So some of my tasks include setting up DB2 data sharing, applying software maintenance to our vendor systems, customizing DB2 on vendor systems, and then overall supporting our vendors to be successful in what they do. And I'm really lucky because I am in a development shop. So my team doesn't work with any production data, which gives me a lot of freedom. So I can work on the network, I can work on disk storage management. Early on, I was able to go to the data center and work with the hardware. So I get to work with a wide variety of technologies. And having the basic fundamental skills learned from my college courses and Master the Mainframe helped me jump right into the work. My third week on the job, I was assisting with setting up DB2 data sharing. And with the previous knowledge of DB2 and also being comfortable navigating an ISPF really helped me retain more information, even though majority of the time I really had no clue what was going on. And but with that information that I retained, 2 to 3 months later, I was setting up DB2 data sharing all on my own. And I was a bit intimidated entering the workforce, but with me having a strong foundation of basic skills, I was able to flourish and start building upon those skills I already had. So I believe that IBM Z is one of the most sophisticated, diverse technologies out there. It's not only the security and the scalability and the zero downtime that has kept it around for so many years. It's adaptability. So the number of opportunities and technologies on IBM Z just seem endless. So, and that's the great thing about IBM Z, since there are so many different technologies on the platform, it's easy to find the things that you want to do and the new things that you want to learn.
That is amazing, amazing journey there, Anna. Thank you for sharing with us. And I know Misty already touched upon the community and how it's a really, the whole Z and the mainframe community is a close-knit community, right? And what I'd like to also share with our participants here today is we have what is called the IBM Z and Linux One community. I will share a link to that on our chat window here in just a moment. What I would love for our students and participants to do is come check out that community. And there is a new to Z community there, of course, but that is the new to Zers. But there's also a student hub where you can come and interact with all of the other students who are also, along with you on this journey, learning and growing. So it's a great opportunity to really learn more about IBM Z, enterprise computing, mainframes, what it is, why it is, how it is, so many of these questions that you might have. I know we're throwing a lot at you here today. So definitely join us at the IBM Z and Linux One community as well. Thank you so much again, Anna. All right, we have our last speaker for the day, last but not least, coming up. I don't know if anybody, here has ever dreamt of being a chief penguin, but that's exactly who she is. I'm going to let Melissa Sassy introduce herself and share some of her secret sauce for what it means to put a powerful pitch deck together.
Awesome. So thank you for having me today, Sudarshana. I see we have 13 attendees here. Since we've got a small group and you're the host, Sudarshana, how would you feel about moving everyone to a panelist so that they have the opportunity to speak up and ask questions if they want? Are you okay with that? And I don't want to put you on the spot, but how do you feel about that? You open to that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, let's go. See, this is what it's all about.
Ride, Melissa.
All right. Do you know how to do it? Are you?
Yes, I can. Why don't you keep talking and I'll bring everybody in as a panelist while you're talking here, okay?
Super. Okay. A small group. I want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity, if you want, to ask questions. So my name is Melissa Sassy, and I'm going to share my screen in just a second, as long as Sudarshana makes me a presenter, because it looks like I don't have presentation rights yet. So Sudarshana, give
Oh,
me the
Misty,
magic.
can you make Melissa a presenter,
Or
please?
Misty.
You were a presenter earlier. Thank you, Misty.
It's whoever is the host.
Yep.
I don't think, let me see.
Yeah, if you just click.
I do. I have the power and I didn't know it.
Yes.
All
You
right,
There you
are
go.
powerful, Misty. Yes, now you're a presenter, Melissa. And we have all of our participants here as panelists, as requested by Melissa. So let's look forward to a really brisk conversation here.
While it is making its way to presenting, I think you should be able to see everything now, but Sudarshana, keep me honest. We're good?
Yes.
All right,
looking good.
awesome. All right, so my name is Melissa Sassy. I am IBM Z's Chief Penguin, and I'm sure all of you are thinking, what the heck is this Chief Penguin thing? Where does that come from? And I don't know, maybe even how can I get that job title too? So I think one of the things that I want you to get out of my presentation, and I want you to get out of today, is that you are the one who is in charge of your job description, your career journey, your path, and even your job title. I know that seems a little. Wait a second. You mean I can craft my own thing? Yes, you can. And you know how I know you can? Because I just saw my boss here on the chat, and I did it. And I'm going to call on Jean. She doesn't know I'm going to call on her, but I'm going to call on her because I saw her here. And I'm not going to call her now, but I will. I'm going to put her on the spot if she still hangs around. And I will tell you that you have the opportunity to craft your own career, your own narrative into whatever you want it to be. So I head up a couple of different things within our crew at IBM Z. And, you know, the first thing is all about our entrepreneurship program. So I spent 5 years at Microsoft, and I spent time on Wall Street. I did a whole bunch of different things in my career while I was trying to figure out, who the heck am I? Where do I want to be? Where do I want to go? And when I came to IBM, I created a startup program. We have 45 startups in our portfolio right now, and we're adding another 55 this year. So by the end of this year, we'll have 100 startups into, under our management, if you will. So for those of you who are thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, or you participate in hackathons, this is a great, well, no, I got to go this way, I think. I don't know which way you're seeing it, but I'm seeing it this way. So whichever way it's supposed to be, I don't know. This is a great way of thinking about how do you pitch your hackathon project, and I watch thousands of these every single year. Now, I think the other thing that you need to know is that I work with students. One of my passions is empowering students around the world to think about what is their career in tech, where are they going, how do they land awesome jobs, or become an entrepreneur. And I know I work at IBM, and so a lot of what I do is think about, how do we get people to build on our tech stack? But bigger and more importantly is to get you passionate about tech and get you to stay into tech and get you to build cool things. And more importantly, how do you transform your life by having meaningful use of the internet? I have my own startup. I have two actually, and I have my own nonprofit, and we've taught tens of thousands of young people to code in 12 countries. We have a co-working space, a robotics lab, and an IoT lab. It's all youth-led and youth-run. And so I know a little something about them, but I always have something to learn. So what I'm going to share with you is what I consider to be the secret sauce of pitching like a pro. Now, you can ask 100 different people about how can you pitch like a pro, and you're probably going to get 100 different answers. I'm going to give you my secret sauce. But again, if you ask 100 different people, you're going to get 100 different answers. This is going to be the longer form version. Now, one of the highlights in my career, I participated in a Microsoft hackathon because, again, I'm an IBMer now, but we all have to think about the bigger, wider role that tech plays, regardless of what technology it is and what ecosystem it is. It's important for us to know about enterprise computing and learning about the mainframe and learning about all of the different things that are possible for us, but it's also important for us to know about the wider lens of what's happening around the world. So I participated in this Microsoft hackathon. There were 4,000 teams worldwide. Yeah, 4,000. My team won first place in the Inspired Me category out of 4,000 teams. And we pitched to Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. Now, I have not had a chance to pitch to Arvind, our CEO, yet, but I'm sure that time is coming. And when I do, I will follow this pitch deck or something similar to it. Because when I had a chance to meet with Satya, I had 30 seconds. Now, this pitch deck that I'm going to show you is not 30 seconds, but this is the basic building blocks of what you need to get to your 15-minute, your 5-minute, your 1-minute, your 30-second. And I'll tell you, when I stepped in front of Satya, because that's what I did, I walked in front of him. He wasn't supposed to hear my pitch. Even though we won first place in the Inspired Me category of every team, he wasn't planning to stop at where we were. I stepped in front of him on purpose. Why? Because my team empowered me to do so. I was scared to death and my heart was beating. And I thought, wow, am I going to get fired? I just stepped in front of our CEO and I said, and it's not an hour anymore, it's a there now. But, and you know what? The idea that I had, it was implemented worldwide across every location across the globe. I'm a hidden figure. You will never see my name in anything associated with the program. And that's why I think it's important for you to always have your pitch down, but also to understand what your personal brand is so that you know how to talk about your work in a way that allows you to use it going forward. Now, I'm okay that my name is not all over everywhere associated with that program because I know I did it, right? All right, so let's jump in. So you can find me on Twitter, for those of you who are on Twitter, with at Mentor Africa with a K. If you're not on Twitter, well, it's time to get on Twitter because if you're working in tech, you should be there. You can learn a lot, you can collaborate, and it's a great place to be in many respects. It's also, as you know, as in any other social network, it can be very toxic. So with that, let's talk about what does it mean to pitch like a pro. So what's a pitch deck? First thing, it's an opportunity to share the ingredients to your secret sauce. You know, you're giving insight into your business or your hackathon project. You can use it with anyone and everyone, whether it's stakeholders, customers, investors, judges of a hackathon. If you are working on, let's say, a project in university, you can use this as part of presenting a school project, depending upon what your assignment is. But it's really a visual prompt to pitch your business or find a lot of different people approach pitch checks in different ways. I personally like to start off with a problem statement. So what is that big wicked thing that you're trying to solve? You want to be concise. You want to include data. And that data can be percentages, it could be financials, it could be numbers. Ultimately, you want to persuade your audience to make an impact and to cause them to feel like, yeah, that problem's real. And yeah, Melissa or Sudarshana or Missy or Jean or Anna or whomever, they are the ones, or she or he or whomever, they're the one to solve that. So I'll give you an example. 48% of the world is not connected to the internet. It's real. That from the UN, that 48% is accurate. Now let's talk a little bit more about that. Of that 48%, in some countries, 10% of the population is digitally literate. 10%. To be prepared for the future of work, young people need to have digital skills, connectivity, affordable devices and internet to prepare and make meaningful use of the internet. You heard a stat, you heard a problem, you heard the impact. So let's talk a little bit more about what goes into a problem statement. Now, if your problem statement is more than 1 or 2 sentences, not the end of the world. I kind of like it to be 1 or 2. If it's 3 or 4, not the end of the world. But I like it to be short, sweet, concise. You want to know who has the problem, what's the problem, where's the problem, when is it impacting, when does that problem come to life? And how does that problem impact others? Regarding the internet and digital skills, you heard about the world. Now I could have talked about the US. So for example, I could have come in and said 24 million people in the US lack access to the internet. Of that 24 million, 19 million live in rural communities. 34% of people living in tribal communities lack access to the internet. So that, again, is me diving deeper into that statistic. So what's the problem? If you don't have access to the internet, you're not able to participate in remote work, healthcare outcomes. You can't research healthcare issues. You can't participate in e-government services. So again, bringing that problem to life around who's facing it, what's it happening, when is it happening? Your problem could be related to anything related to healthcare, fintech, any other industry on the planet. Be data-driven. Don't get caught up in media misinformation and disinformation. It's easy for us to get caught up in that, right? In our everyday lives. But when you're talking about your problem, you're talking about your hackathon project, your business, your school project, a business idea inside of someone else's company, it's got to be solid. You notice mine came from the UN. The other data set came from the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission. Now, I will tell you, both of those data sets, I'm sure they're underscored. I'm sure the number is higher than they are. Long story, data mapping is off, but you get the feeling of picking out reputable sources versus some random website that is not reputable, not credible, not reliable. Because if you're going to talk about a problem for your business, you want to make sure that you've got reliable, reputable data and you're not getting caught up in fake news. Now, the other piece is you want to figure out, what is your motivation? Why do you care about this problem? What is it that connects you to this problem? For me, why do I care about access to the internet? Why do I care about digital skills? Well, 5 years ago, my daughter came to me and said, "Mommy, I'm learning Microsoft." That was when I was at Microsoft. And I learned she was learning Word. And I learned she didn't have access to computers in her classroom. And I learned that she and her classmates, all 35, 40 of them, were sharing a computer. And I thought, what can I do to impact that? So I created a program, I got funding, and I brought 400 laptops to 20 schools across the country. I didn't solve the world's wickedest problem. I didn't solve every digital inclusion, challenge out there, but I realized I was connected to this problem and I found a solution for that particular problem, and it inspired me to do more. So what is it that connects you to the problem that you're trying to solve? Again, whether it's a school project, your own startup, an idea inside of someone else's company, you're an entrepreneur, meaning someone innovating inside of someone else's company, hackathon, whatever. So you want to demonstrate that you are the only person to solve this problem, so that people feel like, yeah, Sudarshana's on this, Misty's on this, Anna's on this. Like she, he, you, they, you're connected to this problem, and I trust you. You're credible. You care about this. You're passionate about it. I read something recently that said a lot of the funding, and I don't have a percentage, so I'm not doing my problem statement, so forgive me. This is anecdotal. But I read somewhere recently that there is a direct connection between a founder's ability to tell stories, incorporate design thinking, and incorporate, let's call it emotion, storytelling into your founder story. There's a direct tie between that, access to capital. The better you are at telling stories and driving an emotional connection, the better you will be at winning a hackathon, getting a good grade. I know it sounds crazy, and maybe it shouldn't be like that, but I'm here to tell you that it's reality. Good or bad, it's reality. Tell stories, connect with people, get them emotionally connected, and it ends up in positive results. All right. Think about your team. You want to be diverse and inclusive, different backgrounds, different genders, different experience levels, different abilities. You want to think about being incredibly inclusive. Who is doing what on your team? Who is your, let's call it advisory board? Who are you tapping into for extra insight? Because you know, you may not be your, who is your end customer? You want to show your product or your service or your solution. Highlight that you are the only one to solve it. And again, it's all about that storytelling. How do you have someone look at you and think, she knows about digital inclusion, she cares about it, or he, or they, or whatever. You want to think about your first 6 to 12 months. I know sometimes you hear a professor or a leader or someone say, let's put that 5-year plan together. No, I don't agree with that. But again, you ask 10 different people, you're going to get 10 different answers. I think focus on your 6 to 12 months. If you're building a tech solution, focus on your tech chops, your architectural diagram, your roadmap. We're going to talk at the end about what you want to give them a demo. And don't forget that even if you don't have a real product yet, you can bring it to life through a prototype. And that prototype could be pictures. It could be a drawing. It doesn't necessarily have to be a full-blown app. But obviously, if you're participating in a hackathon and you want to present something, you want to have something to show. If you're asking for funding, you want to have something to show, whether it's a beta or a demo, ideally an MVP. So you want to have product market fit. And what product market fit means is people want to download your app or they want to buy your service. They're willing to pay money for your service or solution compared to the competition. That's what product market fit means. Speaking of competition, you want to understand your competition. You want to know what but most importantly, when you think about what is your strategy for competitors, you want to think about what is your approach? Where are they failing? Where are they succeeding? Why is your solution better? Why would someone want to pay more for your product versus someone else's? While recognizing that competitors can often be partners. So for example, I'll use IBM and Microsoft. IBM and Microsoft compete, right? But we also partner, and we also service customers to one another. And this is very common in the tech space, where you partner, you compete, you collaborate, you're a vendor. So be open about that. And I'll give you an example of something that exists within, let's say, the Microsoft Apple world. You have a Mac, you also have Office, and you have Office sitting on both of them. Or you have an app that's working on Windows or in the App Store. So keep your mind open around where you can collaborate, because sometimes what you might think is a threat might actually be a partner in some respects. And I know, highlighting IBM and Microsoft and Apple, big companies, and sometimes you got to boil that down into, smaller worlds. But in reality, think about how you can collaborate, and think about how you can be stronger together than apart, without obviously breaking any rules or laws or anything like that when it comes to non-compete. But I suspect in a startup situation, you're not even thinking about that yet, but you never know where you're going to get to with your next big, awesome idea. You want to think about your buyer and create buyer personas. You can Google that. There are templates. They're all over the place. All you have to do is Google buyer persona. And it's a template that you can create that helps you to think about your audience wants, needs, aspirations, and pain points. And it's all about design thinking. In this deck, I'm going to show you a place where you can earn badges. I'm going to skip over one of the slides because I've got a slide in here that's all about Africa. And I suspect that none of you are in Africa. So we're going to skip over that quickly and pretend like we didn't see it there. But I'm going to show you a place where you can learn about design thinking. And why does design thinking matter? It matters in your personal life. I find that I bring design thinking into my personal life, with my family, with my audience, thinking about things from, because how many times do we set out on something, but we don't understand what somebody else is thinking, what they want, what their pain points are. And I'm not saying I understand everything, because I don't, but I try to. And design thinking is a tool or a process or a systematic way of gaining insights into what your audience is thinking and how you can innovate, create, make, and do all kinds of awesome stuff by thinking about your customer first. So you want to think about your market footprint. Demographics, geographies. And by the way, this is supposed to be customer to life. I keep meaning to change it and I keep forgetting. And every time I present this, I remember. So here I go again. I know how to spell life, but hey, we always have to learn from something. Think about, even if in a hackathon project, do you say, yeah, if you created that, I would come. I would download that. I would use it. All right. All right. Think about your marketing tactics. How are you going to reach your customers? What are your strategies for each and every one of those tactics? So if you think about what is a marketing tactic, what does that mean? A marketing tactic is really about events, partners or affiliates. It's about email campaigns, word of mouth, influencers. If I think about this event, for example, this event, well, it captures quite nicely in the event category. You know why? Because one of the goals and objectives that we have in our team is expose you to IBM Z. And how do we do that? We do that through events, through affiliates, which are we don't use. So what is it that makes up your secret sauce of your business, of your hackathon project? What is it that would enable you to reach your customers or your prospects? It could be one of these, it could be many of these. For us, in the work that we do, it's pretty much all of these minus the print aspect. Now, it's a business. So how are you going to make money? What are you going to make money on? What's recurring? What's non-recurring? don't forget that it's possible to do well while doing good. You can make the world a better place and you can make money at the same time, I assure you. So always think creatively, whether it's a hackathon project, your business idea, how can you be creative? Write you a check today. So Jean pulled out her checkbook, and I don't know if Jean has, I haven't had a checkbook in years. But if I had one and I was ready to write you a check, or I was ready to send you a bank transfer for your awesome idea, would you be ready for it? What would you need it for? How much would you spend on it? Or how much of that would you spend? How much do you need exactly? What would you do with it? What would your roadmap look like? Again, remember earlier I told you we're going to circle back and talk about that roadmap. If I gave you $100,000, $10,000, $1 million, what would you do with it? How would you spend it? What would your active users look like? What would you generate in terms of revenue? How would you make the world a better place? Now, people remember how you open and how you close. So this is your time to do your 1-minute pitch, your 30-second pitch, and think about if you were stuck in the elevator with Satya or Jimmy or whomever else I could name, what would you say in 30 seconds? How would you say it? How would you make them want to hear more so they don't want to be stuck in that elevator with you hearing a bunch of nonsense? That they actually want to be stuck in that elevator to hear more. So again, my name is Melissa Sassy. You can find me on Twitter at Mentor Africa with a K. Again, I've participated and ran many hackathons. I've viewed many pitch stacks. Thank you, Sudarshana, for having me. And thank you to the SacHacks team for allowing me to present today. Do we have any questions or how was that? How was I on time? Was I good or bad?
Pretty good. We did go over and today. We've been running a little late because doing part of level 1 was really exciting, really fun. I think the students were really catching on. So we did spend some time there. So really good on time. No worries there at all. I just wanted to summarize. First of all, thank you so much, Melissa. And wanted to summarize a few things that you touched upon, resonated a lot with me. So I shared it on the chat to make sure our students caught it. Participants. The one word you used is about co-opetition, right? It's more about co-opetition when you talked about IBM and Microsoft. Yes, we're competitors, but we also partner in some places. So it's a world of co-opetition right now. And what we've been talking about a lot lately, right? Again, Melissa, is be an and, not an or.
Right, you can be an entrepreneur, you can be an entrepreneur, and
being an and, not an or. Yes, absolutely.
You don't have to choose. Don't think that you need to choose. What do you think, Akshay? You think is fair? Come on, boss. Yeah, he's got his thumbs up. He's like, yes, because he knows that you do not have to choose between being an entrepreneur and entrepreneur. You can have an awesome job. You can still be an entrepreneur. You can be an academic. You can be a writer. Whatever you want to do and be,
yes,
it's up to you. And I have my boss here listening. And Jean, what do you think? Is it true? Did she leave us? Is she still with us?
Oh, she just said, she just texted saying it's a really good event here today. So,
so she agreed. She's gone now. So she agreed. She thinks it's awesome.
She does. She indeed does. Akshay, feel free to go off mute and share your thoughts about what you thought of the event here today. What was one, big takeaway that you're taking away from this event today? I'd love to hear.
There's actually so many takeaways from this event. I cannot list all of them. I might just do a second event if I did that. But the whole thing is basically this, I've learned a lot in terms of not just amazing skills and things to practice, not just at SacHacks, but beyond for your own careers and development, but also in order to understand more about what it means to actually learn and develop in terms of not only internally, but externally with your skills. And so whether it's hard skills or soft skills, and the different success stories from like all the speakers today, and being able to take part in learning from that and trying to make our own success stories. So I really appreciated that.
So, Missy knows what I'm about to say. They may or may not. Missy may have an idea. I don't think Sudarshana knows. So we have a competition that is launching on Monday. Are you familiar with what the competition that's launching on Monday, Akshay? And it's okay if you're not, because you may not know.
Okay, I don't want to take any wild guesses, so I'm going to say I don't know.
It's okay. I expected you not to know. You know why? Because I just shared the blog on it. When did I share it, Missy? Did I share it yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday, and we posted it in our MTM hub last night. I pointed it out to them when we did the tour of the registration, but I didn't give them any details. I just said the title.
Okay, cool. So I just put the link in there, and just so you know, first part of participating in a competition that launches on Monday. And you know what that's all about? It is all about sharing your Master the Mainframe skills forward and making a video about what you've done. So essentially, you have the opportunity to win $1,000.
Wow.
Did you think you were going to have an opportunity to win $1,000 when you joined this call this afternoon?
Yeah, you have an opportunity to win $1,000.
Making magic. Yes, love it.
Now, what I'm going to say is it's not just Akshay who has an opportunity to win $1,000. Now, Akshay may have already done, and his team, and I don't want to just say it's just you, because I know it takes a lot of magic to bring things together, and it's a team. So Akshay, you have to share in whoever is part of your team.
Absolutely.
And make sure that we're bringing all of the magic to the table. So if I didn't list anyone else's name, it's not on purpose. So for those of you who are listening in and thinking, why does Akshay get $1,000? I don't want Akshay to get that $1,000. Like Ricardo and Tyler and William are like, I want that. Like, let's move Akshay out of the way. Like, I want that $1,000. Here's what you can do. You can take the skills that you learned today, you can share it forward, and that means getting other people to register for Master the Mainframe. You can make a video about it, post a video from Monday, which is the 11th, through the 17th, and we will be judging them. And all you have to do is say, here's what I did. There you go. So you have a link to the video, or to the blog that describes the competition in the chat window. Akshay, if you and your team don't apply, I'm gonna harass you. So expect that. And for those of you who are also listening, I would love you to apply. Yes. I have another competition, or we have another competition that we're launching. If you notice in the Z for Good video campaign, you have to download the Goodwall app. Now, we are launching another campaign on the 18th of January. There is no blog for you to look at now. I'm not going to give you a link. You know why? Because I haven't launched it yet. You are finding out about this before it launches. On the 18th of January, we are going to launch something that is called the Human Code. So download the Goodwall app.
Get ready.
What's in the video the Z for Good thing, and you're going to want to look for this hashtag, the Human Code. What it's going to tell you to do is it's going to tell you to watch an event, make a video, tell us what you learned, register for Master the Mainframe. What are you going to spend your exciting education dollars on? So there are two opportunities for you in addition to what we talked about with Master the Mainframe. So I'm sorry for going on, Sudarshana, but I wanted to make sure that the team had an idea around opportunities available to them.
Absolutely. Yeah, hey, I'm sure it is awesome for them to know and learn about an opportunity to win $1,000. all in just 1 week. Next week, that's all you have.
$1,000 next week, and then the next
more
week
later.
after that is it's either 500, 300, or 100. There are 3 prizes.
Yes, we're basically saying we want to keep you busy. Come make money with us.
Yeah.
All right. We're really excited. Thank you all so much. Misty, Anna, Melissa, for your amazing presentations, expertise, and all that you've shared here with all of our participants today. I want to thank Akshay, SacHacks, the UC Davis Developer Student Clubs, and of course also UT El Paso for really spreading the word about this event, bringing all these students here, and spending the afternoon with us, learning about what is enterprise computing. Misty did a fabulous job. I learned a lot from that presentation myself as well. So I hope all of you are going to continue on your journey doing rest of Master the Mainframe and keep up the pace, come back, earn that $1,000 and then 500, 300 or 100, whatever be it. We look forward to all of your applications, right? All right. Bye. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.